by next Monday, I think they will start. But besides that, some of the communities who have also been submerged are seeking shelter with families and friends.
Okay.
And so those children who are seeking shelter with families and friends in neighboring towns, they are being, or we have directed the district director to ensure that those children join lessons in those nearby towns where.
Okay, Mr. Agwemadi, we'll have to leave it here, and we'll follow up on these plans that you've outlined. That's the Volta Regional Director of Education, Francis Yao Agwemadi. We'll stay on education a while longer, this time focusing on the Upper West region, because the minister there, Hafiz Bin Sali, has taken on the Education Minister, Dr. Yawase Edichum, for failing to attend the ongoing District Directors of Education Forum at WA. The minister and his deputies failed to show up, though an invitation was sent to them. As the Upper West Regional Correspondent, Rafiq Salam, reports, the directors are unhappy.
National President of the Conference of District Directors of Education, CODE, Benis Ofori, noted, however, that CODE has numerous challenges they are facing, including the hiatus in the payment of GOG and capitation grants for running of offices and schools, forcing some of them to use their personal monies to run either their offices or the schools.
Government of Ghana grants and the capitation grants meant for our schools and offices are not forthcoming, and in fact the few past years has been very tough for directors and heads of our schools, who are in some cases trying to have their personal funds for the day-to-day running of the directors and the monitoring of our schools respectively.
Another issue is the undue delay in the making of the official calendar for preschools, which is affecting administrative and management functions in the schools and offices. Conspicuously missing, however, was the Minister for Education, Dr. Yo Aduchum, his deputies, and the Director General of the Ghana Education Service, the former has pension for refusing to attend national programs of education hosted by the Upper West region, including the investiture of the first Vice Chancellor of the Simon Diodondombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies. Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz Bin Sali did not take kindly to the behavior of the Education Minister and called them out, eliciting drumming and thunderous applause from the participants.
I'm not happy that the Minister of Education or either of his deputies, together with the Director General, are not here. I'm not happy at all. For me, this is an important national event, and no excuse is good enough for them not to be here. I want to express the feeling of the chiefs and people of the Upper West region that we see this as an affront to us.
Reporting for the news, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Well, from the Upper West region, we focus on the NPP's upcoming presidential primaries on November 4, and flag-bearer aspirant Dr. Owusu Yakoto is warning the party will pay a high price if the November 4 Delegates Congress is engineered to favor a certain candidate. Over 200,000 delegates are expected to decide who should lead the party in the 2024 election, and 4 aspirants, the Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, MP for Asin Central Kennedy Ohene Japong, former MP for Mampong Francis Adenimo, and Dr. Emefa Apawu will compete for the slot. He tells Joy News the party's unity is at stake ahead of the polls.
The reasons given by Mr. Chematin for quitting the contest to start with before coming out to say that he's no longer with the party, those are very solid ones, and I'm very sympathetic to those. Of course, I don't manage this information the way he has done. I still believe that with a person like Professor Okwe in charge, that things can be corrected. So I'm prepared to give the benefit of the doubt and hope that everything will be all right. See, the implication of all this is the unity of this party. if we are not seen to be having a level playing field, after 4th November, it's going to be very difficult to unite the party against the NDC. And for me, that is my worry.
Well, he's also unhappy that the disciplinary committee is yet to make public findings of their investigations into abuses reported after the Super Delegates Congress.
Of course, you know what happened in Nairobi, where the agent of Mr. Trematin was brutalized to the extent of blindness and all of that. And yet, up to today, there's absolutely no record in the Ghana Police Service to show that violence, which is a crime, occurred at that location. Things went really badly wrong, and there was definitely no level playing field.
But did your camp file formal complaint with the party regarding some of the issues that you raised?
No, you see, this is a very internal party matter.
Well, the chairman of the Elections Committee, Professor Aaron Michael Quay, says the findings of the committee's work has been submitted to the General Secretary of the party.
That is something that has compelled us to be more stringent in our processes. Nevertheless, this is a matter that has been formally reported. We invited the persons allegedly involved. We had meetings with them. We have given a report on our findings to the National General Secretary.
Well, let me check on the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Haruna Mohammed, on what exactly this report's findings are and why it's not been made public just yet. Haruna, why don't we have the details of this particular report just yet?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I don't know, we have two committees that is working currently for the New Patriotic Party. We have an ad hoc committee, which is the Presidential Elections Committee from National Council. We also have a standing committee that is working for the New Patriotic Party in the name of the Disciplinary Committee of our party, as enshrined in the party's constitution under Article 4, Grievances Procedures. What I heard Professor Michael Quay said is that they mean that they, the committee, because he's not the chairman for the disciplinary committee. The disciplinary committee is performing their duty. As we speak, they have ended with their discussions and investigations as stipulated in Article 4 of the party's constitution, which is the functions of the disciplinary committee. The disciplinary committee would submit their report to the National Executive Committee through the General Secretary. And if you read the functions 4.2, it tells you that the Executive Committee shall, within 14 days of the receipt of the recommendation of the disciplinary committees, adopt, modify, or reject same, and shall communicate its recommendations and reasons leading thereof in writing to all affected parties. So the report of the disciplinary committee, when received, would be acted upon within 14 days.
I get the technicalities that you're taking us into, Mr. Mohammed, but really, we've been hearing from Professor Michael Quay. He is chairman of the election committee, tells us that a report has been submitted to the General Secretary. Are you also saying that will have to go through the 14 days? Have you received any report at all regarding these investigations of the Super Delegates Congress?
First of all, that's what I want to find out. If it is a report of the elections committee, yes. That is what Professor Michael Quay said. They have submitted a report of what happened, the incident, but not the disciplinary committee.
Okay.
The disciplinary committee doesn't go near Professor Michael Quay. The disciplinary committee's report goes to National Council.
So are you able to say, Mr. Mohammed, that before November 4, some actions will be taken when you receive the report that you're waiting for from the disciplinary committee before this particular delegates congress is held on November 4?
Definitely, some actions have been taken, as we said. However, we are dealing with a legal matter that has to do with procedure, and we have issues that concern intimidations, issues that concern matters that affect individual liberties. So the party, as a corporate institution, has taken cognizance of these matters.
Okay.
And some of those issues have been handled and being looked at. And most importantly, the integrity of the 4th November election is very important.
Well, we'll leave it here. That's the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Haruna Mohammed there. It's a good time to take you to the United Kingdom. And this afternoon, Joy News is learning that government of Ghana is in a desperate scramble to raise resources to settle that $140 million judgment debt owed Trafigura for illegally terminating a contract to install and operate 2 power plants in Ghana 2.5 years after London Arbitrary Tribunal awarded the judgment debt against Ghana. Trafigura has attached at least 5 properties of the country in the UK, but that may not be enough. We have exclusive details of that for you. First, though, Manuel Cranting visited that area. He joins me via Zoom right now. Manuel, well, the seized property or the seized building may not be enough to offset the debt. Why is that? Tell us more. Hello, Manuel. Manuel, you have to unmute and give us the details. Well, I'll check on Manuel shortly. We'll get more from him. But we know that the minority in Parliament also say the House must investigate the termination of a contract between Ghana and the Ghana Power Generating Company's contract, which has led to that judgment debt. We've been hearing from Dr. Kwabena Donko, a former power minister, on this. He's been speaking on PM Express.
I believe Parliament is the best institution to do that because the termination was taken. The decision to terminate was taken by the executive arm, and therefore you cannot ask the executive arm to investigate why it terminated. It ought to be Parliament. And Parliament under pressure from civil society. Ghanaians must know why. We have a right to know.
Well, let me take you back to my colleague Manuel Cranting, all the way from the UK. So, Manuel, you've been finding out more, and it's appearing that the seized or this building may not be enough to offset the debt. Why is that? Tell us more.
Yes, Emefa, can you hear me now?
I hear you loud and clear, Manuel.
Great. So the attached properties initially were 5, and these included the High Commission building and then the Chancery also, but 4 of these properties, we understand, are covered by diplomatic immunity, which means that they cannot be seized and taken over by Trafigura. However, Regina House, which is the only one which is not covered by diplomatic immunity, is now up. What we're learning is that the transfer is not exactly on the ownership, but it is on the leasehold interest, which means that the occupants of the current building are going to be paying their rent to Trafigura instead of the government of Ghana. And my sources tell me that annually the rent is around 1.5 million pounds. 1.5 million pounds. That's what I'm learning from my sources. And this is woefully inadequate to defray the total cost of the judgment debt, which is $140 million. What we know is that it will take about between 75 to 76 years if we were to go by this current agreement. And that is why that building is not enough.
And briefly, have we heard from Trafigura themselves?
Well, we have heard that they are open to negotiations, even as government begins a frantic scramble to reach other resources, including perhaps other properties also, to be able to defray that cost. Trafigura is expressing its commitment to actually listening to the government of Ghana.
Well, that's my colleague Manuel Cranting reporting from the United Kingdom. Well, we're still building up to that November 4 polls. We've been hearing from Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, who's been describing as ridiculous and outright lies, claims that he's made available 100,000 CDs in a pickup truck to constituency chairman in all 275 constituencies ahead of the polls. But fear delegates, we know, has become a popular statement during internal party elections in Ghana. It is believed that delegates are influenced in several ways in their voting decisions, leading to the disappointment of some candidates. In today's episode of our series, that's the Fear Delegate series, Nana Boache Dankwa Yadom interacts with some delegates in the Achuma in Wabieja North constituency in the Ashanti region.
Not say fear delegates, fear human beings, because the delegates haven't come from a different planet.
So come November 4th, delegates across the country will be going to their various polling stations to elect a flag bearer for the new patriotic party going into the 2024 general elections. But let's get interactive with some of these delegates from the Atwiman-Wabeja North constituency. Fear delegates, they say, but is that still the case?
Me say, Omwa Ombeya was Ombeya you and I say, you want piece in baby echo families. Now delegates for United Nachi. Ebi Ebakotono, na Ebakotono, the all special Benyano, or Nyasa. And if fear delegates in the air, a year Juma, a year Juma compensation beba.
The aspirants must have this in mind. Those who follow them are even more dangerous. The MP even gets disappointed during parliamentary election. Even if you contest against your children, some will go against you. Pakusi Indum is a clear example. Delegates are dangerous.
Delegates.
A word to the wise. This is the Midday News, sponsored by Petrosol. Your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol, always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, the only water storage tank with a level indicator. Where Duraplus goes, water flows. We'll return with more. Please stay. Sports.
Thank you very much, Emefa. So today marks exactly 4 years of Keto Kureku's presidency at the Ghana Football Association. Some Ghanaians, though, say his performance has not been up to the mark.
The reason why I will give Ket 1 is because of that juvenile referees. That's the only reason. That's the only thing that impressed me.
In fact, I always say if there is any number beyond 0, I'll give it to him because he has worsened things.
Ket is behaving like, sorry to say, our president.
Oh,
he spoke too much. I will give him 3/10 for the local league.
Cumulatively, I will give him an average of 1.5. And that is even because trying to be a little bit considerate.
If there's a number beyond 0, I'll give it to him.
Yeah, that's some Ghanaians assessing the performance of Keto Kureku.
Wow. Well, let me take you to the court briefly. And the Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono is yet to respond to the petition filed by the OSP asking the judge handling the case involving former sanitation minister to recuse himself. Head of our legal desk, Richard Kujanyako, joins me in studio. He's just returned from court. What exactly happened?
Well, so Emefa, the case was not called at all. The OSP was not even present in court, but Madam Cecilia Dapa, her husband, and her lawyers were in court hoping that a response would have been given by the CJ. But in the last minute, we have seen a post by the OSP saying that by a letter dated 25th October 2023, the Judicial Secretary informed the Special Prosecutor that the Chief Justice is unable to accede to the Office of the Special Prosecutor's request for His Lordship Justice Ejo Chum to be recused and removed from all cases involving the OSP pending before him.
Okay, thank you very much, Richard Kujonyako. He has more on that on myjoyonline.com. Now, the most vulnerable segments of the population, children and the elderly, are facing a growing threat from a silent and invisible killer. That's air pollution. Health experts in the country are sounding the alarm, calling on government and citizens to act to combat these deadly pollutants. Michael Ashale brings you the latest in our ongoing coverage of the critical issue of air quality in Ghana.
It's not easy. It's a difficult moment. It's challenging breathing, especially at night when you are asleep.
Ruben Alexander has asthma, a life-threatening illness that constricts airways. From the carbon-fueled engines, not even his nose mask can save him.
Protect myself from the dust in the system, the dust in the weather conditions in around here.
Air pollution has been associated with several diseases, notably respiratory diseases, acute ones, as well as chronic births and infertility in males.
Well, we're building up to the NSMQ finals. At the outset, 147 schools ventured into the intellectual arena of the National Science and Maths Quiz, yet only 17 dared to be all-girls institutions, setting the stage for a groundbreaking narrative. Well, my colleague Jacqueline Asma Yeboah has more in this report focusing on girls.
Once denied their seed, rose from the ashes, ousting three-time champion St. Peter's in a blaze of determination. Wesley Girls Senior High School's journey, a testament to resilience, led them to the semi-final, eyes fixed on a historic victory, aiming to etch their name as the first all-girls school to clinch the National Science and Maths Quiz title.
If it's God's will for us to get to the finals, we'll get there, and then if it's His will for us to win, we'll also win.
Their dreams, however, met an obstacle in the form of Achimota.
Wesley Girls High School, thank you for being here as well. You also came all the way from the prelims. Unfortunately, we must say goodbye.
Meanwhile, St. Louis SHS embarked on a meteoric accident.
And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Midday News. You're on Joy 99.7 FM, also on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil is up next. I am Emefa Apawu. Many thanks for your company. Have a good afternoon.
Joy 99.7 FM, radio for the discerning listener.
When you want to eat, just Momo it. Tired of the long queues